Hello, my SWTOR brothers and sisters. Boomy here with another video for you. This one has been long awaited. People have been asking for this one for a while, and now I'm finally doing it for you. So here we go. Today we're going to talk about making credits like Boomy. And the most I've ever had saved up was about 50 million credits, and right now I'm banking around 20 million, only because I've bought stuff. And with the whole new Stronghold coming out, Rishi Stronghold, and other stuff on the cartel market and things on the GTN, we're going to want to save up our credits. So I'm going to tell you how I do it, and you don't necessarily have to do it the way I do. You can pretty much make it your own way and how you like it and what you want to do and what you believe is risky compared to what is not risky. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. Well, let's get straight into it. Crafting. Crafting is the bee's knees. This is where I make most of my credits. Now, my secret of crafting is thus. Dyes. Dyes are my secret for crafting and making credits. This is how I do it. This is how I call it the nickel and diming. You put your stuff in there and you see how much you're going for and you sell it up there for the appropriate price. And we'll talk about pricing and all that jazz a little later down the road. Now, crafting is a big important part of SWTOR. You from vanity items to cosmetics to dyes, which are cosmetics, and a lot of crafting stuff you will find on the GTN. Now, the GTN's a funny animal, because sometimes things get a little crazy on the GTN, and other times you just can't seem to sell things at all. Well, it happens. Welcome to the real world, and also the world in SWTOR. Now, this is what I do. When I come into the game, I will go do my stuff, and you want to always keep your companions doing stuff. You want to keep them going for what you want to make. Now, I'm making the grade 7 dyes here, so I have them go out and get the grade 7 materials I need for that, for them to do. And it's low cost. I mean, remember, to make money, you've got to spend money, and you're spending credits. So you have to, sometimes you just need to do the math on that about, if I'm selling something too low, so you're selling stuff, right? So if you're putting out more, so if you're spending more money getting crafting materials than what you're making off the GTN, you're doing it wrong. Now, like I said, I'll go in there, I have the crafting stuff right there. In my banks, I have the universal thing in the legacy storage. And I will go in here, and here I will have everything. So all my tunes will come in and collect from these crystal objects right here. And this is something I try to do daily. Not every tune. That's 17 tunes, and that can kind of get a bit bothersome. But you do it however you want to. But this is where they come to do the crafting hub and get all the materials they need for that. And sometimes the system's really happy with you, and you won't get the resource exhaustion cooldown. You can do it a couple more times, which is fine. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road. So say you've crafted all your stuff. You have your tunes in there. They've crafted everything for you. Go on the GTN and, shift and left click on your thing. Let's just see how much it is. So the black and light gray, we're going to hit the search button. We're going to come in and we're going to see how much they are selling for. Now, here's my big important thing. I would never buy black and gray dye for 225,000 credits. I would never do that. And I would say no one should ever do that. Now, I know you'll be like, but that's you're going to get one heck of a hit. Well, no, because it's just no one's going to buy it. You'll be undercutted like crazy. And we'll talk about undercutting in just a moment. Now, as you see here, we come into the more reasonable side of these. And another trick you can do is you go into the GTN and you study it. See where the market has for about an average of whatever the price it is you're trying to sell something at or buy something. Now, when it comes to the black and gray dye, this is a reasonable, logical cost. I would spend this many credits, 39,500, on the black and gray dye. Now, when you come in here, you see this. You see down here, I try to go to the lowest bidder. So 34,500 is it. And sometimes you just have to go through and to see where it is, how many pages. You have 2,800 right there. So if I were to put a sell on today, which I will, we'll take one of these guys over here, and 2,800 is your lowest, I would come in with a nice 25,000. because they're selling theirs for 28,000. I'm going to sell mine for 25,000. Now, I undercut it, and this is what undercutting, if you're not used to the whole GTN system on how underwear, yes, we know how that works. Undercutting works. So undercutting is exactly what I just did. You have someone's, their lowest price is up there already on the GTN, so you want to scale your price back a little bit, because then people, like we just did, they're going to look for the lowest price possible for the item they are looking for. So if you come in just under that other person, you will be the one whose stuff people will buy. Now, the rules of undercutting, there's sort of an unspoken rule to the world of undercutting. Don't be that guy or gal who undercuts way too much. For example, the lowest thing was 28,000 for this die pack. I put it at 25,000, so I took 3,000 off the top. Now, if I'd gone in and, say, undercut to 15,000, then I'm severely undercutting that person. Undercutting hurts both parties. It hurts not only you, but the other people in the GTN, because sometimes, I try to keep things as fairly balanced as possible so it's not too crazy, because the problem with major undercutting is undercutting is other people who come in will start undercutting you, and then your die, your whatever material, becomes practically worthless. So you're not making any money off it. So that's why you need to be use common sense and be reasonable when you undercut an item. Like I said, a lot of it comes to feeling out the market, feeling out the items you are trying to sell. Like I said, my biggest sellers are the black gray and the red and black. Red and black is always a thing. When holidays come around, you want to, if you're doing dyes, get the red and green or the green and red dye packs going. Those sell as well. So that's another thing to keep in mind. When you're trying to make credits, you're trying to play the GTN, figure out what it is you want to sell, search it on the GTN, see how that is going. Now, when it comes to bigger ticket items on the GTN, the rules are a little, they're a little different. They are indeed. And we'll talk about it right over here. So here we are, we're on my main tune, and she's got the higher ticket items on here. Say hello. Hello. So she's got the higher ticket items, and this is someone I sell the higher ticket items on too, because it's weird. This is my main tune, so I only really buy the hyper crates and whatnot on this tune when it comes to cartel stuff. And so, which means she gets the higher rated items. So if you have some items from the cartel market, say you've got this guy right here, the rat mount, so you just go here, do the same thing you did last time, shift and left click on it, hit the search button and see where you are. So here we are. The top rated is 3.5 million. Now, when we talk about our high ticket items, sometimes on these, you have to wait and be a bit patient with. Unlike your dies, which I have been on at times and have sold dies, and within seconds, I have money in, I have sold those items, and it would tell me like, da-dong, da-dong. I'm like, what's going on? It's like, oh, people keep buying my items. Now, when it comes to your high ticket stuff, you need to be patient. Sometimes they take a while to sell. The market will fluctuate a lot. And you'll have a lot of gigantor prices, especially right after the cartel market stuff has come out. So it's better to sometimes, and I would think, to take some, say you buy a hyper crate or you get a hyper crate off the GTN, you open up the items, you wait the cooldown period for them, and then you study the GTN, how they're doing on GTN, what's their going price for, do you think that's a reasonable price? And then you sit back, you wait. If you see a price on, let's say, a really cool helm is either way too low or way too high, it's time to sit back just a little bit and just let the market play. If it's way too low, buy it and then sell it for more. That's a whole other thing to do on the GTN. If you see an item that you might well also be ordering, or is a high ticket item, but someone went and did a stupid and put it on for way too low, buy it for that amount and then place it up for the higher amount, and bam, win-win, you are a winner. Chicken dinner. Now, sometimes this stuff will backfire on you, and you'll just be stuck with stuff, and that happens. That's part of playing the GTN. Now, with this guy, you have the 3.5 is your 5 million is your highest, and then your lowest comes down to 699,000. Now, again, ask yourself, would you pay that much for this type of mount? Would you pay that much for this type of mount? I don't know. Maybe. He looks weird. I'm not particularly, and he looks like a weird-ass elephant. But if I were to do it, I would sell it in here. So 699,000 is your main. I would literally undercut this guy down to about 550,000. Now, I know I told you high undercutting is a bad thing. That is really a big bad thing when it comes to your smaller ticket items. I call them the nickel and dime items, like your dies. When it comes to your high ticket items, it's okay to drop a few $100,000. Or if you see people put stuff up for like 50 million and you're like, no, I could never buy that. Why would anyone buy that for 50 million? They're either doing two things. One, they're way too hopeful. And two, they're just parking it there to make room in their banks. That's another thing that people do on the GTN. So you put your item up there. Now you might have a day to wait. I don't usually put items on the GTN for more than a day. I just strictly 24 hours because the market fluctuates so often. I think doing it any longer than that is a bit silly personally. Now, don't get discouraged if you sell an item and it doesn't, if you put an item up there and it doesn't sell, do not get discouraged. It takes time to sell stuff sometimes, depending on what it is, especially mounts and crystals and whatnot. The big ticket items are going to be your helmets, your gear, your armor sets, those chest pieces especially. Those are going to be the high ticket items there. So I hope that helps you in that regard. And like I said, another thing is alts are your best friend when it comes to crafting, when it comes to wanting to sell stuff and make credits on the market. Like I said, I have this set up to where all my alts can come in and start mining these crystals, so I have tons of resources to make the dies with, so I can have at least 2 or 3 companions working on making dies for me while I'm out and about doing whatever, or I'm just, let it go overnight before I log back in, whenever that might be, just so something's always happening. And just to make sure that all my alts are doing it correctly, I always put it all into the legacy so that I can use it on my main crafting alt. Now this alt does other stuff too. Augments are a big thing as well. Outside of dies, I don't sell them too often, but this is my my big augmenting person. Listen, I'm from World of Warcraft, so I'm used to my crafting trees or whatnot. You do specific things. Every tune is different, so that's kind of how I do it here. So yeah, she is my big ticket item. She is my augment lady. Now, let's talk about other things you can do in game to make you some money rather quickly. Let's do it. So another thing you can do to make money is dailies. Now, some people hate dailies with a passion. I actually like dailies. I think dailies can be fun, especially if you have a goal in mind with the dailies. Now, for this video topic, we're all doing about making credits. Now, when you do your dailies, you get, that credit turn-in as well. So you accept that, put that over there, you're gonna do it over here, you're gonna say, oh, how much is that gonna be worth? So it's about 14,000 credits is what you're gonna get off this daily. Now, if you do the dailies correctly, and you go on, you're killing all the beasts, you can make probably around 100,000 credits doing dailies in about 40 minutes. So that's not too bad. Dailies are good to do. Flashpoints are also good, but also be careful of flashpoints. You'll be spending your credits on repair bills, especially if your team sucks. War zones, you get credits there doing. Now, another big thing when it comes to making the money is via leveling. Leveling is another good way to make money. Now, this one's going to take a little bit of patience because you won't necessarily reap all the rewards just yet. Now, I've done it to where I've leveled a tune from 1 to 70 and gone through all the storyline. And if you do it all through the storyline and you try not to spend all the money in the world, you'll make probably around 1 million credits. So that's another good thing. And just remember, hey, you're leveling, right? So you're doing a lot of things. Oh, she's got a lot of stuff. You're doing a lot of things to go towards your progression of your tune. So you're actually having fun. It's not like, I'm just doing this to make the money. So it's just something to be mindful of while you're leveling a tune, that you will be making credits off it. And if you want to save those credits, go ahead and do it. Ah, heroics. Heroics, my friends. This is another way to make some good old cash in Star Wars The Old Republic. Now, in heroics, it's almost the same thing like leveling, but a little different in that it doesn't take as long. Now you can make a good chunk of change in heroics just by killing all the people and by what you get as well. So if we take a look here, you're going to get about 20,000 credits there on the line. So like I said, heroics is another good way to do it. If you're bored, you want to switch things up from whether you're doing dailies or what have you. Like I said, this is another good way of doing it. It's another good way of how I do it as well. Now, one other thing to do while you're leveling, and maybe while you're doing heroics, and when you're gathering pieces off fallen creatures or things out there in said wilderness, is you're gathering resources. You can take those, and if you don't need them for any stuff you are doing, sell them on the GTN for a little bit here and there back in the nickel and diming stage. This is a truth that goes along lines in every MMO that's out there. So, my friends, I hope this was helpful. I hope you go out there and you try some of these things out. And it helps you save the money. And like I was going to say before I interrupted myself, which was rude, what are things that you'd like to do to help you save and make money so you can become the big hut of your own server? Now, there are people out there who have billions of credits, and they've been here forever, and they know the system far better than I do. I also like to buy things, so that's the thing right there. Like I said, I hope this helped you out. I know this was a bit long, but well, welcome to MMOs. My friends, remember to hit that like button if you like what you see here. Sure helps the channel out a lot. And if you don't like what you see here, hit that pound the crap out of that, button. And I might cry a little bit, but whatever. I don't take it personally. Make sure you share and subscribe to the channel as well. Tell your friends about us. Become part of the Boomy Nation family here, the Freak Show over at YouTube. My friends, as always, remember to be kind and it's about community. And we shall see you later. Good day.